These guys are drunk and out of shape, and we're prima fucking ballerinas. Pretty Lethal is an Amazon original directed by Vicky Jewson and also written by Kate Frund, or Frund, however you say that. She plays the character of Sonia, and this features some ballerinas, played by Maddie Ziegler, as well as Lana Condor, who has been in some good films. She unfortunately was also in Valiant 1, which is an absolutely abysmal military film where Briarcliff Entertainment should be ashamed that they even bothered to pick that up for distribution, and anybody who funded it should be, quite frankly, investigated for money laundering. Not Lana, not her fault. Also, Avantika, who is in the musical film version of Mean Girls, because it was a film that was turned into a musical that apparently was well received, but the movie, oh boy, oh boy. She was also in Tarot. I know it's tarot, but it deserves to rot because that movie was horrible. As well as Iris Apatow and Millicent Simmons, who was in A Quiet Place Part 1 and 2. She's the one that actually is deaf, and you know what? Good on her for building a career. She seems to actually understand how this whole acting thing works, which is more than I can say for some people in Hollywood, so good on her. That being said, Uma Thurman is also in this for some unknown reason, probably because of paycheck from Amazon. And yeah, we get a few needle drops of music. We get a clear indicator that these ballerinas don't really get along, at least a couple don't. But when they arrive in Hungary and their bus breaks down, they go to an inn that is run by criminals, and they must fight their way out. That's pretty much it. Like, if you've seen the trailer, if you're one of the unfortunate people that knew this movie was coming out, then maybe you were going to possibly get some entertainment out of it. I don't know. But after Ready or Not 2, as well as They Will Kill You, I'm kind of over the action horror spin on the subgenre. Because this movie had moments that could have worked, but the thing is, the characters are so stuck and standard and bland, and you don't really care what happens to anybody in this. Credit to everybody for taking the bumps that they do, and there's a little bit of good splatter violence, but it feels so empty. It feels so bland, and I'm sorry, but this was not well written. This was not necessarily badly acted, but it also had very, very just, baselines for these characters. And Uma Thurman, I really felt bad for her in this. I mean, I'm sure everybody had fun. I hope everybody did. But even with super low expectations, this movie just grated on me. But again, badly done characters, and just even with like an 80 to 85 minute runtime, I mean, because the credits are pretty goddamn long. I think this thing literally clocks in at like maybe 80 to 82 minutes. It really feels stretched out even for that. It does not end up working really at all. And a couple neat little kills, a few neat little stunts. It doesn't disguise the fact that this film really just isn't that good. So it's on Amazon. If you want to check it out, let's get into spoilers. It'll take too long. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. There you go. So yeah, Rhythm is a Dancer. We got that as a needle drop. And then Everybody Dance Now, gonna make you sweat. Make till you sweat till you bleed. Is that dope enough? Oh boy, indeed. There's some dope in this. Some dope all around the set. So after their bus breaks down, the bus driver says, "May the wolves have mercy on you." God, I would have rather been attacked by wolves rather than continue to watch this. And I'm sorry, this wasn't one of the worst things of the year. But while I'm glad that somebody's work is getting put on a big platform like Amazon, Amazon originals generally are not well received as far as quality. And while this movie is inoffensive at the end of the day, it also ends up just being, yeah. So, Princess, Lana Condor's character, basically is a rich bitch. Nah. And they're at the Terramok Inn. Terramok, the Mind Taker. Ooh, guilty! That part would have been more entertaining had they had men talk in this. So, Devora, basically, she used to dance. It turns out, actually, that there's this character, Pasha, or Pisha. Bitcha is what I wanted to call him. The character, not the actor. And it turns out that, Devora's dad owed a bunch of debt to him, or to the father, and then the father decided, I'm not going to take your leg, I'm going to take your daughter's leg. And yeah, they worked the whole Sugar Plum Fairy and Sugar Plum Dance thing to death, which, I mean, I guess it was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't. And since Millicent Simmons actually, playing up the fact that she, sign language can't actually hear except with hearing aids, they play on that. Not nearly as well as A Quiet Place did, but her hearing aids got wet during a rainstorm, so now she's having to either air those out or they just flat out don't work. The Sugar Plum Dance, they're doing this in this bar that clearly has a bunch of evil people in it. They're like the adult that has to go with them, their supervisor, their chaperone, is what I'm trying to say. Miss Thorne, Lydia Leonard, who has been in some good films and didn't last very long. She got killed in this about 15 minutes in. And you got to think about them bones. It's Maddie Ziegler. I'm just looking at my notes because my notes, we're starting to get more frantic. Not like the Harrison Ford frantic, but just like frantic, like I am not liking this movie. And yeah, the title drop is 18 minutes in. By the way, I watched Surat yesterday, and that was 32 minutes into the movie before they dropped the title. Surat's a much better movie. I don't really think that's surprising. And there's this character, Artyom, who is like Aaron Carter. I'll let you decide which version of Aaron Carter I'm referring to. So, Sonia's just a henchwoman. Grace gets drugged, so she's high as fuck. Avantika basically having to act like a ditz probably isn't that far from how people are going to make her act in movies. I don't actually think she is a ditz. She just plays it really well. And then Bones basically is the only one that is going to give in to the splatter violence and stuff because she's like, we're not going to die here. Yeah, the violence sort of ticks up about 40 minutes in. And there's a point where she pirouettes and stabs having like a box cutter on the bottom of her ballet slipper. That was kind of neat. I'll give them that, but there's just not enough of that. So then Princess, being all egocentric, she tries to leave, realizes it's a mistake because she isn't good on her own. This is lousy, very lousy. I'm sorry, but the character development, everything is just very basic. And there's a House on Haunted Hill clip from the 63 version, which is the only one I'll acknowledge because the 99 one was terrible. And rotary phone calls. Yes, people actually used to dial phones that way, kids. I know. I'm surprised that nobody notices that. We have a rotary phone, or had a rotary phone. It broke, but we used to have one. So that means that Devora has explosives, because she's going to get revenge by bringing the man that took her leg and blow him up. This is dreadful. I wrote down this is dreadful several times on my notes, by the way. The violence in the dining hall, and look, there are moments they're doing the dance numbers and killing, but it sounds far more interesting presented that way than it actually plays out on film. And yeah, Devora basically shoots Bitcha in the goddamn leg. She gets in the ballerina outfit, Uma Thurman does, to do this, and I'm sorry, but I remember when Uma Thurman had dignified. It's like, again, some movies are supposed to be entertainment. This isn't necessarily insulting, but it's not good. And they do end some of the girls end up getting outside and they have to go back inside to save Bones because she's been captured. And Princess finally bows up to the doctor, literally the doctor that was going to take a little saw to her feet after taking her toenails off, but she just laughed about it. Because I'm a fucking ballerina, none of this is really working. But whatever, it's fine. And yeah, when I said bowed up, literally, she used a crossbow. See you at the crossbow so you won't be lonely. This is dreadful, end quote. Devora then blows up everything. So I guess everybody's dead. By the way, their passports and everything have been burned. And the bus driver, actually, who I thought was in on it, wasn't in on it. He was just fixing up the bus finally. and they race away on mopeds that the other thugs use to get there, and they go without their passports, covered in blood, and do their dance. I'm probably putting too much thought into this movie, but so much of this just felt so standard and just so familiar. Even any attempts to try to have a little bit of fun with the violence, it doesn't work. It's at odds with what it wants to be. And I'm sorry, Pretty Lethal gets an F. I'm sure everybody had fun making it. Some people may vibe with this. It did not work for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Reitland. Until we see Swan Lake go on again. Actually, it's a Nutcracker. But let's just pretend that I actually know what Ballerina shows I'm talking about. Happy trails to you.